Okay, welcome back, and this is the second set of demo lectures for Drawing 1 class, where we're talking about um, contour line. If you remember, in the first unit of Drawing 1, we were talking about gesture, and in this unit, we're talking primarily about contour line drawing. But one thing I want to emphasize is that although we might use these different kind of names of drawings, to a certain degree, a good drawing is a good drawing, and that every good drawing is fundamentally a gesture drawing. Like every good drawing fundamentally is gestural. It's a good representation of someone really looking and thinking in the whole, and really putting the major parts as more important than the minor parts, and that a contour line drawing is not the opposite of a gesture drawing. So one of the things that is coming up as I'm doing this drawing is that we have lots of different intersecting parts, right, with the laces and the flaps. And so try not to draw like one thing at a time, but instead kind of focus on following a line until it gets to a new place, and then wherever that new place is, take up that new thing, that new aspect. So even though I was drawing the front kind of toe, it brought me to here, so I'm just going to continue that line and start working on that flap there, and that's going to bring me to this lace. And so really try not to kind of think, okay, now I'm drawing the laces, and now I'm drawing this, and now I'm drawing that, but instead just keep thinking that you're drawing the lines that you see in each section, and look for the interaction between the lines, and that'll help for your continuous gestures, all kinds of continuous gestures, to really feel like you're really looking carefully, and you'll really get the most out of the process, and especially with blind contour ones, but also peaking contour ones. And speaking of continuous, you may have noticed I lifted my Conte stick up there for a second or two. So I'm a cheater. Just like with the blind contour, you might notice that at times I'm using a much lighter hand in some places. That might be in places where I'm not quite sure what I'm putting down, whether how accurate it might be, or in some places where the changes I'm seeing are much more minor and more subtle and are defined by a major value change. And as you do this in a continuous process going back around, you might then start to actually think about more carefully where you might use heavier line weights to emphasize either hierarchy, to say like this is an important part, or to emphasize value. This is the dark side of the form. But just like in a gesture drawing, even as I'm coming around and maybe starting to put in darker lines, some of those lines might actually be going directly over previous lines. What I'm trying to do is still continue to draw, meaning I'm still looking and thinking and making judgments. I might decide, you know what, I've made the front toe a little bit big, right? And I might decide to rein that in as I'm coming in, and also putting in a darker line right there. And just like with a gesture drawing, it is okay to make mistakes. Right? The mistakes can still be a useful part of the drawing. The most important thing is that the drawing feels like you were looking and checking and making decisions all the way through the whole process. Not that you made some mistakes and then tried to hide them. Okay, I think that's a pretty good, well, let's put the Okay, so that's a peaking, although it became less and less peaking as I worked, contour drawing of the shoe, and that would, practicing that, both the blind contour and the more peaking contour, will then definitely help you prepare for a more careful and more continuous, but also continuous contour line drawing that we'll be doing from the still life. All right, thank you.